I'd like to talk about the community member profile, the people that we hope belong to this community that we're trying to start. Who are they? What are they motivated by? What would make them want to belong to this community we're dreaming of? I think there's three main buckets. The first is casual, and those are inevitably the Facebook group members for expats in France. There are about 700,000 members of Facebook groups that specifically are dedicated to talking about being an expat in French, all in English. These people are interested. I'm not sure they're committed. There's a subset of these people. I call them queenagers. I love that term, probably because I am one. Those are women over 50 who find themselves in the enviable position of having the money and the time and the heart to take some surprising decisions, like a teenager might. Some of these people, some of these women are probably just dreamers. Some are very, very serious indeed. The second big bucket is fans. And one part of that group are people that might be our most important contributors who've moved to France recently in the 5 years. They remember extremely well and are what it was like, and they're surprisingly motivated to help people who are coming behind them. This is probably the most surprising and biggest asset we've got, is how helpful recent expats are. Not everybody, but there are some who have gone so far above and beyond what I normally think they would do, and their knowledge is fresh and their heart is really willing. The third big bucket is pros. In this bucket, I put sort of a cousin of those fans, but they've been here maybe 20 years or more. They continue to have the heart and the brain and want to help people. Frankly, these people are saints. I don't understand them because I am not a saint, but they're important, and we want them in our community. There's another bucket, which is not really people, but entities, either government or community organizations. AVF is a prime example, but there are many local associations whose missions overlap and are motivated to serve the same population as we're talking about, these community members, potential community members. Finally, there's the actual pros, the real estate agents, the notaires, the tax people, even restaurants and Airbnb owners. There are reasons why people who make their living might want to be a part of this community. Now, along with the saints who are part of this pros, sorry, I forgot something. There's a very important big category, which is what I call the expat hopeful. These are people, they're not dreamers. They are serious about the question of moving. They may not have decided that they're going to move, but they are serious about it. They have done loads and loads of online research. They are undoubtedly, if they're on Facebook, they're a member of those groups. And they either have taken a reconnaissance trip or they're planning one. They are perhaps the people hungriest for this community. And along with the people, the fans on the other side, the expat experienced, are perhaps our most important group. Our question is, so I forgot something. There was a little number, 2.5, which was another bucket. And I think that bucket might help us figure out what our incentives are, why people would want to come. And that's because I think we have a group of people who are not quite, but almost content creators. There are people who have been so obsessed with this for so long, both people that have moved and people who have yet to move, that they have loads of photographs, loads of videos, and lots of thoughts. That's my stick figure guy, exclaiming what they have learned. They want to talk about this process. I think part of the reason they're so helpful is because they need to tell their story. And I think that's where we may have a surprising amount of value, because if we can focus, and that's the most important thing, they have pictures, they have opinions. Can we frame all that content that they have that nobody's using, and can we make it easy for them to give it to us? And if we can, I think we have a robust and fascinating content stream that will keep all of the buckets perhaps coming back, but most specifically the expat hopefuls and the recent expat experiences and those helpful saints. Because I think those are the three member profiles that we really, really should focus on. And we need to talk very carefully about what our purpose is. I think our first purpose has to be helping solve tough challenges. So, i.e. practical. We need to be dramatically practical for those expat hopefuls. And I think we have some very practical resources that we can offer them. But we also need to be radically giving them a sense of belonging, because as complex and prose-like that as this challenge is, I think it's every bit, do I belong? Can I belong? Can I find friends? So those two things, solving the very technical, practical things, while giving people a dramatically greater sense of safety, support, and belonging. That's what's going to get the people to change their habits, which right now are simply go on Facebook and then go on a reconnaissance trip by yourself, not well prepared, and then maybe call Renaissance. So I think we need to talk about whether I've got the buckets right, but we also then need to talk about which buckets are most important. As the People Powered guy says, we need to start really focused and stay somewhat simple and then iterate out from there.